And here we are, live television. Assembly member and candidate for mayor Nathan Fletcher joining us this morning on set. Nice to have you, sir.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. Your reaction now to, well, first we'll get to the op-ed piece by Governor Schwarzenegger. Yeah. Do you think that maybe he's the wrong messenger, but his message is resonating?
Well, I mean, he lived through this. He lived through an environment where we've seen parties devolve to where you really have to toe the line with the far right to have any place. And you know, we used to have a politics, there used to be a day in our time where people could be willing to be a little independent on this issue or that issue. They could be willing to reach across the aisle. You know, I was talking to a World War II veteran the other day who said, the greatest generation, we came back from war and we didn't care what your party was, we just fixed it, we got it done, and that used to be allowed in our parties. But they've devolved. The partisan gameship and games playing has overtaken everything, and I think you see a frustration there with the real extremes in the parties.
Nathan, your critics will say that you will make a vote based on some ideological line you have, but really that's the point of you changing from Republican to Independent. Is you're not going to vote based on, well, this is because it's Republican or it's Democrat. You vote based on how you feel. Is that correct?
That's exactly it. I mean, we have an environment today where people just toe the line. Either the far right or the far left tells them what to do, and that's what they do. And I'm going to look at every issue on its merits. I'm not going to care whose idea it is, what party it came from, what the person proposing it might have done 10 years ago. And you really see this dominated in a campaign right now. We have a Carl DeMaio on the far right who attacks me for being a radical liberal. And then you have a Bob Filner on the far left who attacks me for being a crazy conservative. And I've always said it can't be both. And the reality is I'm not going to toe the line of either side. I'm going to make decisions on what I believe is best.
Yeah, DeMaio's attack on you for family values is one that I'm not sure a lot of people will get over. But yeah. Let's get to the poll, because the poll is important. Now, you have different polling numbers, but let's talk about the UT poll for a minute and the dynamics of that, because DeMaio's on top, you're surging, Filner's right with you. The dynamics of that poll and how it's changed since March.
Well, I think what it shows very clearly is the public is tired of the games playing. They're tired of the two extremes. They want someone who's going to actually govern a city, who's going to work with people, who's going to build coalitions. And people are frustrated. You know, when I'm out there every day, I'm hearing the frustration. Why can't they make it work? Why can't the two parties get along? And I think our message is really connecting, and we're going to continue to climb.
In that poll, it says 35% undecided. You guys have your campaign has your own poll. How is it different from the UT's poll?
Yeah, I mean, you know, every poll you see is going to get a little bit different numbers. We had a little bit lower, a little bit higher. It all depends on turnout. But at the end of the day, I think this election is going to come down to a choice between a candidate who represents the far right, one who represents the far left, and then someone who just says, hey, let's just make it work. Let's build our city. Let's get it done. Let's improve our schools, put people back to work, rebuild San Diego. But that's going to take an independent voice, someone that will work with either side.
The Union Tribune endorsed Carl DeMaio. It has been a lot of interesting ink this week, going back and forth with the editorial. There was a lot of criticism of the UT and their editorial board for some of the comments they made. Right. Did you want their endorsement? Would you have liked to have had their endorsement?
Well, we knew we weren't going to get it. That was made abundantly clear last week when they wrote an editorial basically comparing my move from partisan politics to independent to a Marine not honoring core values. And that's offensive. And that definitely connotates that whoever wrote that never spent a day of their life in uniform. And they don't understand what it means to serve. And I think it really reflects what's wrong with our politics today, which is we've lost sight of the difference between having principled positions and partisan games play. And it was made very clear to me that my move out of the Republican Party caused great consternation amongst their backers and ownership. And I'm not upset at all. They should if they're going to endorse a Republican candidate, I don't have any problem with that. But you know, Jeff, I can't say or be someone I'm not in order to get an endorsement. And so all we can do is what we think is right and move forward. So it's you know, not a big deal.
I want to ask you a question because you've been in Sacramento. You know, you've spent some time in Los Angeles. I want to ask you about the importance of an independent press and how important that is for a community, the lifeblood of a community, an independent press. Do you feel that may be at risk in San Diego right now?
Well, I worry in general. I think that the press plays a vital role in a democracy. The press is there to hold accountability. The press is there to do investigative reporting. The press is there to really ask the tough questions. And it really is the filter. It's the umpire, the one that calls balls and strikes, and the public has got to have a high level of confidence that the information they're reading is objective and unbiased. Editorial pages are free to express opinion, and there's nothing wrong with that. And today's editorial was completely fine. They own the paper. They can write whatever they want. You just hope that it never spills over into the news coverage.
The absentee ballots are out.
They'll be out. It's time to vote.
I believe we're less than a month away.
30 days away today, and it's been an amazing journey from announcement until today. And I'm just humbled that so many San Diegans are really coming on board, and I hope they'll help us finish in these last 30 days.
All right, candidate for mayor Nathan Fletcher joining us this morning. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
All right. From margaritas to mac and